Good morning, everybody, and welcome along to Football Talks. This is your Monday look into all of the tabloids and Sunday papers. We're covering everything from the transfers to England being a million miles behind every other top nation ready for this World Cup. Touch on that later, but we do need to get into what I just said there, the transfer situation first of all. How are Manchester City getting away with it still? More players lined up. It looks like we've got medicals today for Reinders. Ain't Nori coming in? What's happening with Shirky? This is just, it's craziness right now. Then you've got Liverpool, who are about to break the British transfer record as well for Florian Wirtz. What's happening with them and all the other transfer news going on? Where are Spurs at with Thomas Frank? And what's going on there? Is it just the time to sack everybody at Spurs? And why? Is there not a big deal about when Spurs are doing things like this compared to other clubs? Daniel Levy is actually looking at everything right now, I feel, and resetting everything. So, yes. Did I say Monday again? I'm sorry if I said Monday again. I've got this thing. Seriously, I don't even know I'm saying it right now. But it is Sunday. Sorry. Again, I think I said this before on Forever United TV as well. I'm losing track of all my days, it would seem. Anyway, let's get into all of the papers. Let's talk about everything that's going on. And of course, we have to start with the big one. We haven't talked about it that much. I'm only joking. Yeah, Florian Wirtz now looks set to sign for Liverpool. This is the biggest transfer of the transfer window across the globe. It's going to be, isn't it? The big story that's going around, though, and the one that is doing more paper columns and getting more clicks than anything. It's not the 113 million that's apparently been now put on the table by Liverpool, which is amazing. It's the so-called 350 to 425 that has been talked about regarding Florian Wirtz's wages. Liverpool did used to have a football structure and a wage structure in place. It does seem like they're breaking the mould now, doesn't it, though? And all of a sudden, they're paying very, very high wages. They've just had to commit to Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk, both apparently over the 300 mark as well now. Is Florian Wirtz worth that much money? Let's look at it and break it down, really. When Florian Wirtz, young player, 22, obviously, if you get him on a long contract and he does turn out to be a success, it doesn't look like a bad deal. But this is one of the things. It's like, how many German players come over to England and actually are successful? There isn't a good track record of it, is there? And when you look at this, and all the reports, and the papers will start to build it up into something that's probably not as drastic as, I would say. But still, that is a lot of money. That is an awful lot of money. The whole package, when you break it down, dependent on how long that contract is for Florian Wirtz, is massively substantial. And I don't think there'd be any Liverpool fan worrying about how much their owners are now investing and what they're thinking of for the future of Liverpool. The stadium improvements and what's come there, and now investment after winning the Premier League. I don't think there's any Liverpool fan right now that's really concerned about where the ownership see this club and the direction it's going in. It does look like everything is moving in the right direction, but you've always got to worry. I think whenever there's a massive transfer fee like this, whenever there's a substantial wage or contracts like this, there is always the negative side to it, and there is always something that would trigger the narrative or people worrying that this is going to be a big disaster. It's all going to fall flat on the face for Liverpool, and it's going to turn out to be one of them epic fails of a player. Look, Florian Wirtz is an outstanding footballer. Absolutely brilliant. I feel with Arne Slot and a settled Liverpool side, I don't see this failing in terms of the player. But what are your expectations? What do you think 113 million, and God knows what that wage works out at. I think it's over 20 million a year at least for Florian Wirtz. So realistically, if he's got a 5-year contract, what's he looking at there? You're looking at a deal that's going to be close to 250 million quid for Florian Wirtz that Liverpool are going to fork out. What are your expectations of him? What does he need to do? What does he need to provide? Are people going to be judging him on what trophies Liverpool win? If Liverpool don't win the league next season, is this seen as a bad signing because it's a massive investment? If he doesn't get a certain amount of goals or assists next season for Liverpool, is that seen as a failure as well? I mean, when you talk about, and this is a complete different player, and the example might not fit, but you look at Núñez and what they spent on him, and then his numbers that he's put up, his numbers didn't seem too bad. It's just because he had Mo Salah in the side as well. And if Florian Wirtz doesn't hit the numbers like Mo Salah's doing, are people going to be looking at this as a failure? I think ultimately what Liverpool need to do, first of all, just to end any sort of negativity around this transfer, is defend their title. If they can win the league, then I don't think anybody's talking about Florian Wirtz being too much money. The investment has been proven. They need to be competing, and they need to be competing and winning at the highest level. And if this happens at Liverpool, then I don't think you're going to get anybody complaining about the price for Florian Wirtz. If Liverpool have one of their drop-off seasons, then you could be looking at people making this out to be one of the worst signings of all time in terms of the price paid, the wages that he's on, and then how do Liverpool move him on if he doesn't be a success later down the line. That's all drastics. That's all right at the other end of the scale, I would say. But still, this is what figures like this bring, and this is the conversation that these players actually, these players create. He is one of the world's best. Let's not forget that. And you have to pay a premium. And if you're getting, like, if Liverpool are going to make a mark and say, right, okay, City are going to massively improve, we're going to move on to them in a minute, what can Liverpool do? They've just lost Trent for nothing. Well, they just got that fee off Real Madrid, the compensation, actually, to sign him earlier. So well done for that. Obviously, they've got aging players. They've just signed up Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk, so that's good news for them. It looks like they're now looking likely to keep Luis Diaz as well. So they've got a decent enough squad. Harvey Elliott might be moved on. Kwanzaa talks about him as well. But Florian Wirtz coming in for them, I think, is a statement. You're then backing it up with Frimpong. You're then backing that up with Kirkez as well. Them players coming in for Liverpool. And if they go out and buy a striker after selling Núñez, then that, I think, that's taking Liverpool to the next level completely. And they're at that level now. They're a difficult team to beat. They are the best in the league in the country right now. And that, I think, is where we're at with this one. Because Florian Wirtz, I think, takes Liverpool to Champions League level. Like, competing at the Champions League level. So this is enough, I feel, to make Liverpool more than competitive, again, in defending their title. And, obviously, compete in the Champions League. But if it fails, and he doesn't hit the ground running, then the pressure, and you know what pressure is going to come. Like we say, it's Liverpool. This is a massive football club. And if it doesn't work for Wirtz, then the media are going to have a field day on it. I believe that Wirtz is going to be a massive success. I just like the playoff. Just in general, I think he is an absolute quality player. Is there anyone out there that is worried that Wirtz might not actually make it? I just think sometimes the quality of player just shines through, and it's inevitable. In a well-run team like Liverpool, Wirtz, I would think, is going to find it impossible not to succeed. I do. I think he's going to be a star. I think he'll be on plenty of fantasy football teams going into next season. I just think he's perfect for Arne Slot and Liverpool right now. But there's just that little bit in it that might not go all their way. I don't know. You tell me in the chat. Let's get into the comments now on this one. Do you think Wirtz is going to be a success at Liverpool? Is he worth that money, everybody? I have a feeling Liverpool will sell Salah next season to recoup the Wirtz fee. What's Mo Salah signed? Is it a 2 or 3 year deal on it? Sooners told us that a 100 million player should get 4 assists a game, so we should expect 100 plus goal/assist from Wirtz this season. Yeah, good old Souness. He needs to think before he speaks, that man. As long as Salah's there at Liverpool, new players will be okay, sadly. I get what you're saying there. Wirtz won't get Bruno numbers. I don't think he will either, but still, you when you look at how teams actually get better, when you look at how teams, after winning the league, what do? Like, they've already hit the ceiling. So the Premier League title's in the bag. What do Liverpool do to make that team stronger? You go out and buy the best player that's available, and that is Florian Wirtz. So that's the scary bit for me. That is the very, very scary bit in all of this. I just don't see how Liverpool can fail. And that is, as an opposition fan, the worry in all of this. Núñez is why they won't look at a striker in the Portuguese league. Is that a little jab at Man United for going for Gyökeres? Let's just see. Might be a success. Oh well, we can't please everybody, can we? Sorry, everyone. Just trying to sort something out. Matty's not happy with things in the chat. Sorry, mate. We're not playing both sides. We're just breaking everything down. And yeah, the question is there. That's the debate. It's a lot of money for a player that is never kicked a ball in the Premier League. It could all fall flat on its face. I'm just asking people what they think. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think he'll be a success. But there are certain people that may look at this and, again, the pressure on Liverpool to win the league with what Manchester City are doing, that could play a big part in it. City have said no to Wirtz, by the way. They thought he was too expensive. And we all know that City are not scared of spending a few bob, don't we? I mean, you look at their situation right now, and I think that's probably the one. I've said this before regarding Arsenal and their situation. Like, Arsenal need to get a move on because they're going to end up falling behind. This is supposedly now the year when the backing comes in, they get that striker, and Arsenal start moving forward. Sesko, is he the one that is going to make the difference between what City are doing right now and what Liverpool are doing right now? I don't know. I don't think it is. I don't think it's good enough. I don't think that signing is going to change them. Zubimendi and what he said, that's not secured yet. And when you look at Manchester City, so Reinders is having his medical today. Obviously, we're hearing about Ryan Shirky. They're not going to overspend on Ryan Shirky, but apparently this deal is now moving forward. Fabrizio Romano has said that personal terms are agreed. He's on board with the project. There was another report going around that they're going to move away from Shirky if the fee isn't right. Apparently, the fee, though, is around 30 million, and this is going to get done for Manchester City. So, again, I don't see this being an issue for them. So that's Shirky. You're looking at Reinders coming in as well. Obviously, we're talking about Ain't Nori as well. That deal has moved forward very, very quickly for Manchester City. And with everything that's already been spent in January as well, Manchester City completely making a mockery out of the PSR situation on the Premier League. They really are, aren't they? It's embarrassing for the Premier League what City are doing right now. Look, you looked at that PSR table that the Athletic put out and what football clubs in the Premier League can spend this summer going in. And Manchester City are right up there at the top alongside Chelsea. And you're thinking, how? Like, how are these teams able to do it with everything that's going on behind the scenes? How can they do what they're doing? There is another story that's gone under the radar as well from Martin Ziegler about Manchester City beating the Premier League in the ownership situation with sponsors, and that a part-owned company by the club can sponsor the football club for as much money as they want now. That's what City have pretty much won and got, in terms of what they were taking the Premier League to court for, they've actually won that case. The 115 charges from Man City have been completely brushed aside at the moment because of Manchester City's attack on the Premier League. I think this was the whole angle that City took on it. Let's take the Premier League to task and take them to court. And then it will just give us more time with the 115. Like, I don't know how I don't know how the Premier League can come back on Manchester City if they've already lost this battle. It just seems like they're never going to be able to get what they want out of Manchester City. And I think what City are doing in terms of their spend as well right now, I think they're just taking the mick out of the Premier League. When you break down the PSR, though, and what's happening now in modern day football and the finances, City are allowed to do this. City are quite within their rights to spend this amount of money because of the amount of money that they've generated and players that they've sold before. City are doing good business. That's the annoying thing. And there's a lot of fans that will be asking that question that I just put there. How is City getting away with this with all of this money being spent? Well, if you look at the new rules and what City have been operating in the new rule age over the last 5 years or so, they're quite within their rights to spend what they're spending right now. They're doing nothing wrong. It's what got City to that stage, all the historical stuff that everyone's got a problem with. And I think the Premier League are finding it more and more difficult to take City down with these claims right now, because City are making the Premier League look corrupt in what they're doing and how the league is actually being run. When one of your members is actually suing you and claiming off you for things that they feel are not right, how can they then take Manchester City to task? So what they're trying to do is they're trying to change the rules, what City were brought under or partly brought under for the 115 charges. and this is what's happening. Honestly, it's a minefield when you get into the details of it. But just to break it down on where we're at right now, what City are doing and all of the money that City are spending is completely above board. Whether you like it or not, it is completely above board, and they're quite within their rights to do it. That is hard to take, and that is obviously hard for every other club, particularly, with everything that's gone on in the past, the 115 charge and everything like that. There's nothing wrong with what City are doing right now, and that's the hard line. And the signings that they're making are making them stronger. And this is the point I was making with Liverpool. Liverpool have had to make this statement summer, I think, just to try and stay ahead. Because this, I don't think, is what Liverpool have managed to do before. They've never been able to defend the title, and Premier League era-wise. And this is their chance now to actually say, like, we are top dogs again. City have had a fall-off, and City are rebuilding and rebuilding big. And this, I think, is why Liverpool are also on this. And this is why I also think that Arsenal are going to fall behind. They really are. Bayern Munich have very angry at not... Bayern Munich are very angry at not getting Wirtz. They assumed he was going to Bayern. Yeah, they did. But, again, Liverpool made a better offer. And do you know what? That monopoly that Bayern Munich have got of all the young German players, taking them off all of the other German teams, that has been broken by the Premier League and Liverpool this season. So you could say that Liverpool have actually changed things up and changed everything that's actually happening right now. So, yeah, I mean, what we're looking at here, I think, is Liverpool trying to defend this title. Liverpool, in trying to make their mark, have gone all out. And I think they feel comfortable in the position that they're in with the squad they've got and the team and the manager and the future, everything being done. They feel comfortable that that's enough for them. Manchester City know where they are, and they know with a little bit of tweaking in their squad that they'll be challenging again next season. I think the top two are Liverpool and Manchester City. The point I'm trying to make in all of this is, no matter what Arsenal do this summer, they're still not going to break into the top two. It will be Liverpool and it will be Manchester City. And I'm strangely saying that with confidence right now, because I know Arsenal can do good business going forward, and Arsenal have got a very, very good side, but you just feel like they just haven't got the right mentality and the experience of what Liverpool and City have got in winning a league title now is what Arsenal will never get. They've failed every single time, and no matter how much Mikel Arteta actually spends, it doesn't seem to get them any further. They are very good, they are very competitive, and they are an absolute quality side, but they're never going to be winning that title. I just don't see it happening. Mate Aaron actually has just come out with a great tweet saying Mikel Arteta has signed 5 goalkeepers since taking over at Arsenal. 5 goalkeepers. Kepa on his way to Arsenal. You've got David Raya. You've got David Raya in goal, and your priority this summer so far is buying a goalkeeper. I don't understand Mikel Arteta. I just don't get him. Why he hasn't gone out and bought that striker, I just don't know. That's what's going to be his failure. That's what's going to be the demise of Mikel Arteta. Not going out and buying a proper striker in his time at Arsenal after all of these years. Honestly, it's crazy. It really is. It really is. And this is why they will fall behind again. I think the title is already Liverpool's or Manchester City's, just going off what's been signed so far. I feel that I don't think there's anybody that can compete with Liverpool or City. It just depends if City can turn it around again. If Pep's got all his marbles back in place and he's ready to go, then I feel like we're all right. I think City will be okay. But again, if we have like the Pep Guardiola meltdown like he's already had, like he only wants a small squad going into next season. Like, seriously? What's going on there? I don't get that. I never got that comment from Pep. Hello, Sasha, who has just renewed his membership. 4 months a member. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Kaz has just renewed her membership as well. Football Talks is growing. Please subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, everybody. We have just under 500 in the room. Again, great numbers for Football Talks. Bayern feel entitled to German players. They pushed Wirtz away by being so demanding, says Leon. It's a good point. Again, poor Bayern, they can't bully German clubs for all their players anymore. If Arsenal sign Sesko, they are in the top 4 race. That's going to rile Arsenal fans even more, that one. A good comment, thank you again. Newcastle should just do related party transactions because City set the precedent. Newcastle should abuse the rules since City got away with it. That's what I've been saying all along. Like the Saudi ownership at Newcastle now will look at what's happening at City and go, well, we're having a piece of that. I think there is a chance now, soon, Newcastle's ownership will really test the Premier League rules. They'll do something that really tests them and they'll say, well, no, look, they've got away with it. We're going to do the same. You can't have one rule for one and one for another. If this is going to be the new rule and the new rules coming in regarding the sponsorship of company-owned football clubs or business-owned football clubs and their own sponsors coming in, if that is going to be kiboshed, then it's open season for Newcastle. They could just put a naming rights on the Newcastle training ground for $500 million, and say that's fair. That's literally what this rule is stopping happening. And City are about to win this case. In fact, have won this case according to Martin Ziegler. And it's going to change the whole shape of it. You could look at Manchester United's situation right now. If Ineos really wanted to invest into United, they could form their own sponsorship scheme, which ploughs millions, multi-millions into Manchester United. And that puts United back on the map. There's loads of ownerships out there. The Nottingham Forest one, Chelsea's, everything that's there with rich ownership at football clubs. Aston Villa, absolute fortunes to spend, but just cannot spend them because of these rules. If they find a way around it and there's a loophole somewhere, expect it to completely blow the Premier League up. And then what do people say about the Premier League? It's lost all its right. It's lost all its power. Let's see if we can get up to the 100 like mark, everybody. I'm just trying to see now. No, I was just trying to... I can't see that. I'm just looking to try and donate a membership to somebody here. Let me just have a quick look now. No, I can't do it from my end. Sorry. I was thinking I was just going to celebrate getting to like 100 likes there by donating some memberships. I can't see them up on my screen at the moment, no. But, hey, look, I'll work that out. But let's try and get to 100 likes anyway, so we can go. And then we can try and hit some new we can actually, looking at the numbers right now, get to some records here on Football Talk. So let's keep going. Right. Moving on. Let's get... just reading through some more. Americo and Saudi Airlines incoming for the Geordies. That's true. These Arsenal fans think football stands will now... they've done the second place and third repeat. I'm just sure what you're saying there, mate, on that one. The Saudis have more money than the rest of the owners combined. Newcastle will be a contender in a few years. Yeah, we do. I mean, Newcastle will be a force to be reckoned with that ownership model. They will. It's just going to be a case of, if everyone's on the same playing field, it's going to come down to who offers the player the most money. I mean, every certain club can't buy every single player. It's not like because Newcastle have got all of this money that they're going to be able to just outbid everybody on every player. Look, it's going to be spread. Like there's always going to be the low of Barcelona and Real Madrid, Manchester United, Liverpool, big clubs in England, big clubs across Europe. I think what we're looking at here is that Newcastle are just coming to the table, but they still have to obviously get to the stage of where these other clubs are, get to the stage of where Manchester United are. It's like with Man United signings right now, people can't understand why these players want to go to Manchester United instead of Newcastle, Arsenal, Spurs, Chelsea, all of these players. It's because of the history of the football club. You've got to build that up. You've got to stabilise. And I think being sustained in title challenges throughout every year, that's where it does help the likes of Arsenal with some players. But it does also help if you win the trophy as well. Nunez going to Saudi for 100 million. Now Osterman fell through. Liverpool are doubling up on how much they paid. I don't know. I mean, I've heard the story about Nunez going to the Saudi Pro League. I've seen that come about. I can see it happening as well. I thought Luiz was going to be another one, but he looks like he's staying, like I said before. But still, when you look at the get out that you've got with the Saudi Pro League now as well for some players, for some teams, that definitely adds to the PSR situation. And I think we can definitely get We can definitely see some big moves happening, some really big moves happening with the Saudi Pro League. Through some other news quickly, Jean-Philippe Mateta now close to signing a contract extension at Crystal Palace. That I think is definitely going to upset a few Premier League clubs. Manchester United were supposedly interested in Mikel Arteta. Not Mikel Arteta, Jean-Philippe Mateta. Not Mikel Arteta, Jesus. Come on, Adam. Mateta signed a new deal at Crystal Palace, I think makes sense. I just don't think anybody was going to pay the money that Crystal Palace wanted. And I think him signing their situation with Europa, with UEFA and the Europa League, is an interesting one as well at Crystal Palace right now. God knows how that's going to pan out and what's going to happen there with them. But not looking good for them at the moment with the dual ownership model coming in. And again, more rules with dual ownerships of football clubs creeping into every single conversation now. There's so much going on. It's hard to keep a track of it. 100 likes in the bag, by the way, everybody. 100 live likes. That is great. Thank you again, everyone. I want to move on to the Spurs situation right now and Thomas Frank. He does look like he is the man that's going to take the place of Ange Postecoglou. First of all, was it right in the chat? Please talk to me that Ange Postecoglou lost his job at Spurs. Was it the right move having seen him pick up that trophy, the Europa League trophy? After so many years without one, they sack Ange Postecoglou. I think probably it was right because, like I've said before, as a United fan, I've seen the scenario before with Ten Hag and United backing him after he won the FA Cup and then it all going wrong to a different level. I think that's what will happen at Spurs. Ange would have been found out in the Champions League. 100% he would have been found out. And I think it's the right call by Spurs. Is Thomas Frank the man? Completely inexperienced at the top level as in Champions League. Welcome to Spurs. You got to compete with the best in Europe and you got to get us back into the top 6 to be in there next season again. That is a tough ask for Thomas Frank, and that is a big job for anyone coming in. Is Thomas Frank the right man to come in at Spurs? There was a story that I was covering on Forever United TV this morning regarding Thomas Frank telling Spurs to go out and buy Bryan Mbeumo. That I completely shut down is complete nonsense, and Mbeumo will end up at Manchester United. I think that is all set in stone now. Gifted membership from Tom. Thank you very much, mate. Welcome, Peter, to the members club on Football Talks, my friend. Was it right that Ange was sacked? Get into the comment section. Yes, it was right. You can't finish 17th. It was Ten Hag all over again, says Revenate. Mix Mitchell says, yeah, and as a Liverpool fan, I think Amorim and Arteta should have followed him. As a Liverpool fan, I mean, I don't know why you would think Amorim should have been sacked by Manchester United, having not been backed yet. At least every manager needs a transfer window to obviously get what's necessary in, and I think that's where Amorim is. Next season, if Amorim fails, I think he will be sacked, especially with what's going on right now and how much backing is going on at Manchester United. For 250 million, I'd want 3 Champions League titles, says Nigel. I pity anyone working for Lever. Yeah, he has just sacked the women's coach as well. He's sacked Ange Postecoglou, all off the back of the seasons that they've had. And again, like, there isn't that many headlines talking about this with Spurs right now. And it just goes to show the size of Spurs. Like, if this was Man United or Liverpool, a big club, then there would be headlines everywhere about what Spurs are doing right now. But there's nothing. No one's even talking about it that much. It's not even big news anymore. And I think this just goes to show that more people are interested in what Manchester United are going to do, what Liverpool, Arsenal, City, what they're going to do. Like, Spurs are just Spurs. Yes, they got into the Champions League through probably the worst final that we've ever seen. Worst final that we've ever seen in Europe. But look, they weren't bothered. They got the trophy. They got into Europe. I think they're trying to make it look like they're acting on what was unacceptable for Spurs, and finishing where they did and how they performed last season is unacceptable. What was it, 22 defeats or something like that for Spurs? That is shocking, and I think it was the right decision to sack Ange Postecoglou. Pill, welcome to the Members Club, gifted by Andrew. Roz in with a super chat. Thank you, Roz. Love that. The injuries and Levy not backing him with transfers really hurt Ange. You can't ignore finishing 17th, but Levy should also be fired. That is all you will hear from Spurs fans. Get rid of Levy. Daniel Levy is the problem. He is a big issue at that football club, isn't he, Daniel Levy? He really is. I just don't see how Spurs will ever compete at the highest level. Well, he is actually there. It just looks like an impossible task. It does. We touched on Mateta there as well. More news in terms of who is going to replace Thomas Frank as manager if he moves to Spurs, and that is Ipswich Town manager Kieran McKenna. He's on their list of candidates to bounce right back up into the Premier League and take the job at Brentford. That would be an interesting one. That's come out from TalkSport. Chelsea are expected to complete an agreement with AC Milan to sign Mike Mignon tomorrow. Fee will be around €18 million. That's a good signing for Chelsea. Just sold Kepa to Arsenal. It's a massive goalkeeper shift going on right now, isn't there, in the Premier League? How many stories are you hearing about goalkeepers moving? My God. Newcastle are set to step up their pursuit of Brighton forward João Pedro after missing out on Brian Mbeumo. That is their next target. They won't get João Pedro cheap, the Geordies. That is going to be I think, minimum £60 million signing for Newcastle. That won't be easy at all. And when you... Oh, God. I said it before. The transfer window is going to be a record one. It is, with what Manchester City are doing. Just to bring you up on the Ryan Shirky situation again, I did say earlier on what City were doing. I got waylaid there, sorry. But Manchester City don't want to overpay just to get Ryan Shirky for the Club World Cup. If they feel he is too expensive, they could wait and maybe go again in the next window. So they're not going to try and make this move happen before Tuesday, before the first part of the window shuts, basically. They don't necessarily need him for the Club World Cup. They would like to try and get him in and registered, but it's not an absolute necessity to get him in now. They can wait it out. That's the update and the story regarding Ryan Shirky anyway, and what he is, where his move is currently at with Manchester City. And so when you look at it, like all of the moves that are happening right now, like I just said, this is going to be a blockbuster. I think a transfer window where the most players have moved and most transactions have happened, a transfer window when the most money is going to be spent, all in the midst of the worry and concern about PSR and financial fair play. It seems to be thrown out the window, which is where I think the story on Manchester City is quite relevant right now. Whichever way you look at what they're doing, what's happening with Liverpool, the Premier League in general, PSR, it just seems to be a bit of a farce. And it's not really stopping anything. The teams are pushing boundaries constantly and are finding loopholes in any way possible. And I think City have just opened Pandora's box when it comes to the finances and what's spent again. You're going to see a completely different environment within the Premier League, I think, going into the next couple of years with what's happening. PSR rules change next season, don't forget as well, to squad ratio rules. And this is just going to be a different look again. And it's all going to be powering the bigger clubs as well with the rich owners. That's the concern. That is the biggest concern in all of this. And this is why I don't think we've heard anything from these cases and court cases between City and the Premier League. I just feel like it's being kept under wraps while they try and figure out a new set of rules to come in to make it look like they've actually done something. Because it is going to get very complicated and lots of questions will be asked. I would worry about Brentford if he took over. Seems to be a good coach, but not sure he's up to it yet, especially as Brentford probably losing a lot of players that they need an experienced head. This is going to be the big test for Brentford, isn't it? Losing Thomas Frank, the mainstay, the steady Eddie, the one that got them comfortably into the Premier League positions year on year in the Premier League. This is where I think it's going to be a big test. Could this be the one that sends Brentford back down, losing Frank? Or can they just carry on where they left off? Is McKenna good enough for them? I don't know is the answer to that. I really don't. If City doesn't get Shirky, another team should move for him. I think City will get him, to be honest. They're all corrupt, says Nigel. I think every club is, yes. Kel says, thank you for all the likes and welcome new subscribers. Yes, I echo that one there as well. Cheers everyone who has liked the video. We had our best numbers, I think one of our best live stream numbers as well, and likes up on the show. Absolutely brilliant. This is our new channel. We've only started it in January. If you are new to it, Football Talks, where we talk daily about other football news, particularly in the transfer market going on. We do this live show on a Sunday. There will be other live shows popping up, but it's mainly going to be videos throughout, keeping everyone updated. So when this live show comes around, we like to try and get as many people involved as possible and welcome as many people in. And thank you again for all of the great numbers coming in. There are plenty of talking points within that there. There's quite a lot to get through, to be honest. The Spurs situation, the Liverpool, the Manchester City. The questions I'm asking you to get into the comment section are, is this going to be a record transfer window? Is Wirtz worth that money? And what is the point of PSR? I was going to talk about England, but who cares? I'm going to wrap things up there, everybody, and get on with my Sunday. Have a fantastic day, everyone. I hope you have a good one, whatever you're up to. I will be back on Football Talks tomorrow again, or maybe even tonight if something does break. We will see. But for now, that is it. Mods, thank you for a great job again in the chat. Anyone who is new to the channel, welcome. Please get your comments in below. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Give the video a like.